Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims info/thoughts video. So we got some more things to talk about regarding seasons, including the snow depth issue being addressed. But I'm going to save that for a little bit later on in the video because I know what's going to happen if I just talk about it right off the bat. People are going to assume that I'm just negative literally all the time and that I'm only here to crap on The Sims because that's what happened when I went on a rant about the lack of building apartments outside of San Myshuno when City Living was about to come out. But speaking of previous expansion packs, there is some cross-integration between cats and dogs and seasons, because Singru Emery says that some pets enjoy chilling in the rain, but eventually, if they get too wet, they'll run indoors. And, well, I think it's only fair to assume that would go for snow as well. And it's great that they thought about this, because even though you could use your sim to call their pets over to them, it might not always be readily available to do that. So it is good that the pets are smart enough to go inside on their own as well. Singru Emery also spilled some more details about the thermostat, including that it is possible to cause sim deaths that way. Yes, the thermostat can be too hot to handle if you're not responsible with it. And yes, the thermostat can affect bills, thank goodness, because that adds a lot more realism to the game. You may remember in a previous video I was speculating as to whether we were going to get table fans and ceiling fans. Unfortunately, that does not look to be the case, but I'm pretty sure the modding community could pull this off, since we do have the thermostats, and just make the ceiling fans and table fans do the same thing. Singru Emery also clarified something that they said in the blog about how thunderstorms make Sims tense, and he says that there are interactions to set your Sims' favorite weather and temperature, but I believe thunderstorms will always make your Sims tense if they're outside. You can always make it so that they love the rain though. So yeah, that is good. I mean, I would imagine most of my Sims wouldn't be too thrilled about going out in the rain, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be some Sims who would appreciate that in my game, I think, so it is good that the option is still there. And it turns out we are getting some sort of seasonal wear, because Singru Emery says that there's new outfit categories, more than just winter, and Singru Grant also clarifies this by saying they have categories for hot and cold clothing. He's not using the phrase outerwear because the details are not important. TLDR, you're getting the thing that you want. He also mentions that the clothing from previous packs, as well as custom content, are compatible. This sounds pretty amazing to me. It definitely sounds like a clear advancement over what we had in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 seasons. And it's good to hear that custom content is compatible with it too, since I have quite a lot. And yeah, then if creators don't need to update that, then that's really good. Another thing that Singru Emery clarifies is that you can use the weather machine to have your eternal winter, snow, and cold, even in places like Oasis Springs, and yeah, just do your own reenactment of Frozen. However, if the cold does bother you anyway, you can use fireplaces to help warm up your house. And here's something that's also really cool. Singru Emery also accidentally leaked that toddlers are finally getting a swimwear category. Yes! Although it still feels like it's not going to be that useful because it's like, okay, it's just for the kiddie pool, unless they actually are adding the ability to give toddlers swimming lessons in the pool. But yeah, at least it'll be not so awkward looking to have toddlers go into the kiddie pool in full clothing. Another thing that I was really hoping for that is confirmed is that there is integration with laundry day stuff. If you're hanging clothes out to dry, rain will literally rain on your parade. And yeah, that's awesome. I use laundry a lot in my games, so this is going to add like an extra layer of difficulty to that. So there's definitely going to be that to consider. Well, at least with my Sims who use the wash tub outside. The Sims using washer and dryer is just okay, it's fine. But yeah, I'm really glad that bit of realism is in there as well. I wouldn't want my clothes to somehow dry while they're in the rain. Another thing that's been confirmed is that there's a snazzy new piece of user interface for us being able to tell what season we are currently in. I'm really glad to hear that, but I hope that we'll also have the thermometer telling us the exact temperature too, so that it's also easy to tell how warm it is outside of it, instead of it just being like, okay, it's summer, so we gotta assume it's hot every day. Because in The Sims 3, it was definitely not like that. Plus, I mean, it's more realistic that way too. But with seasons, Singru Grant also confirmed that we got a default length of 7 days per season. We can change that, so I'm happy here, no complaints. Another question with the seasons themselves is, will it blend? And yes, they will. It's not just going to suddenly jump between all the graphical effects between the seasons. It'll actually seamlessly transition just like they did in The Sims 3. And yes, this does extend to leaves as well, so it's good to see Singru Grant has confirmed that. Singru Kate also confirmed some things, including that there is going to be a weather channel for the TVs, and be sure to check it regularly so you can ensure you are properly dressed. Though I do wonder if it'll always be accurate because, well, I'm sure you know in real life that weather forecasts aren't always accurate, so in a way, it would be realistic if the weather channel doesn't always work. And yes, there will be frost on windows. I'm pretty sure you can already see that in the trailer, but I guess it's good to have it reconfirmed. And she also confirms one other bit of cross-pack integration, saying that raking leaves or shoveling snow as children does help with the responsibility character value if you own the Parenthood game pack. She also announced that we are going to be getting a live stream for Seasons, and it will be taking place on their Twitch channel on June 15th at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Alright, so now it's time to move on to the heavier stuff. So Singru Grant gave us a full answer as to whether we're getting snow depth in this expansion pack. So he starts off by saying, "Hi Simmers, hope you had a good weekend. We're so glad we can finally discuss Seasons. And we've seen a bit of discussion regarding deep snow, so I want to address that quickly in a short series of tweets. We knew deep snow would be important from the very beginning, and we researched a variety of solutions to implement it. However, we never had confidence we'd be able to achieve the visual quality bar we expect for The Sims 4, which is key on an aesthetic feature. Therefore, as lead producer, I made the difficult decision to focus our efforts elsewhere. As we share more of TS4 Seasons, you'll see the gorgeous, intricate details of winter, spring, summer, and fall we dedicated ourselves to instead of deep snow. We think this is the best version of Seasons ever, visually and from a feature standpoint, and cannot wait to share it with you. Thanks and stay tuned." And boy, oh boy, do I have opinions on this, because well, let's start off with the relatability factor. So, I live in Canada, and it is a common thing here to get deep snow every winter. So, to see winter not accurately be represented in The Sims 4 and just kind of look like terrain paint, as you can see in this picture, is quite a big letdown to me. And you might be surprised to hear that the decision to make the snow like this is not because of performance. It is because that they couldn't get it to look right. And it's hard for me to believe that without pictures, but unfortunately there's probably all sorts of corporate trade laws that would not allow them from showing us what deep snow could have looked like in The Sims 4, since that's not a part of the final product. If they were somehow able to show us pictures of what deep snow could have looked like in The Sims 4, that would be awesome, because then I could really see for myself that, okay, it was worth it for them to not do deep snow and that it would look ugly if they had done it, and then I could just move on from that complaint completely. Don't get me wrong, I am really glad that they were still able to be somewhat transparent and confirm that deep snow is not a thing in The Sims 4 Seasons, and not have to wait to address that until after the game is released, and for us to be shocked and be like, whoa, it's really not in there. So yeah, it's still really too bad that this ended up being a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure that Seasons is going to be my favorite expansion for The Sims 4 that they will ever release. And yes, that does count future expansions, even though I have no idea what they are. But the thing is, the Seasons expansions have been my favorite for Sims 2 as well as Sims 3. The Sims 1 didn't have Seasons, so that kind of allowed Unleashed to become my favorite for that one. But yeah, it's still really unfortunate that we waited almost 4 years for Seasons just for Winter to turn out like this, because Winter is like the season that transforms the game the most. So as a result, not just because I can relate to Winter, but also that it was the one that I was looking forward to the most. So it also makes me a bit concerned about what the other seasons are going to be like. And this kind of transitions into another negative, because SimGuru Kate confirmed that there's no Sunburns. Oh, and I was optimistic about that just yesterday. Oh no. Well, at least SimGuru Emery does confirm why they didn't put in Sunburns. For his explanation, he says, "One of our engineers likes to say, it's software, anything is possible. While that's true, as the amazing TS4 modding community shows, everything comes at the cost of time. Our team works very hard to get as much into each pack's development timeline as possible." And this makes sense to me because modders don't really have this limit. They can just create mods like whenever they feel like it in their free time. And for the next part, he says, "But there are inevitably some features that are too expensive for too little gameplay or visual payoff. We try to make the best decisions for each pack, but since The Sims closely mirrors real life, which is a bit hard to fully emulate, there are things that fall short. I'm sorry if that isn't the answer you want to hear, but we're all very passionate about the game we work on and aren't trying to shortchange our players. If we had some kind of magical time device, that would be ideal, but reality is not that convenient." And I guess that somewhat makes sense, especially when he mentions visual payoff. I can imagine that's where they decided, okay, Sunburns are less important than other things that could impact the gameplay a bit more. Maybe if they really wanted to, with a tropical island game pack, then they'd have another chance to integrate that for those of us who have seasons, or maybe even if you don't have seasons, you could just still have Sunburns, but not the seasons. And I do also want to mention that I did show off a Sunburn mod a while back, so at least for those of us who use mods, we can hopefully continue using that, provided that Flurb will update it. But even despite these two shortcomings, I think this is still going to be a really great expansion pack. Why is that? Because of all of the positive things that I mentioned before the snow depth. Yes! We have come full circle on this, and yeah, I'm really glad that I did this. So yeah, despite me being really negative about these 2 points, I think there's still going to be a lot to love about this expansion pack. There's things that they're improving in certain areas that are more realistic and just better than what we've had in the past. Like with the thermostats, we didn't have that before. Now we'll be able to control the temperature inside and not have it just automatically be a safe haven from the warmth or the cold. And then there's also the hot and cold clothing, which is an advancement over the outerwear from previous games. And in that same cast category, toddlers are also getting swimwear, which is also something that unmodded Sims 3 games do not have. Plus, there's also other little details, like being able to decorate the holiday tree and possibly a New Year's Celebration Bash TV channel for your New Year's parties. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does suck that with each expansion pack there's always some sort of trade-off that's controversial. But I think, at least in Season's case, it might actually not be as bad as we think it is. There is one other minor negative that I want to address, which is that the world maps are not going to be updated to reflect the season that you're in. And SimGuru Emery's explanation for this is that these maps are unfortunately going to stay the same. They're actually fairly expensive to make, and having to support basically 4 maps with every new world we release post-seasons takes away time that could be spent on new pack features. Sorry. And Honestly, I was predicting exactly this. I had a feeling that the world maps were gonna stay the same, and I don't really mind that. I mean, I can wait until I'm in the game to see what season it's in, or maybe it'll even say, like, when you're hovering over your current household, they'll say, like, what season it's in, but yeah, it's really not a huge deal to me, and I predicted that reasoning as well, so yeah, definitely better to put in more features into the next expansion packs rather than dwelling so much on making 4 maps for every world. And that wraps up another Sims info/thoughts video. Wow, I actually kept this one under 20 minutes. But feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you think about everything I discuss in this video, and please be polite, not just to me, but to everyone else in the comment section below as well, because a lot of us have different preferences. Some of you are not going to care at all about the things that I don't like, and some of you may hate the things that I do like, so please just try to keep that in mind. And I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!